Hey guys, welcome back to a new video. So I know it has been quite some time since I posted a video here, and I felt like I needed to pretty much update all of you all as to what's been going on the past couple of weeks, what's going on in the garage, how's the Corolla doing, and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, the past couple of months have been kind of weird. You know, this whole COVID pandemic deal has really thrown a wrench into everything. I was fortunate enough to be able to keep my job, but I did take a pay cut, and there was times where it wasn't all that certain that I was going to keep my job. So I've really been devoting a lot of my time into my work. You know, it does pay my bills. Maybe one day YouTube will, but you know, until I get to that point, you know, I've got to focus on what's important. Now, of course, with that, I'd be lying to you all if I didn't tell you that the Corolla, man, dude, it pretty much chewed me up and spit me out. I had to take a little bit of a break from it. The engine bay was a lot of work, tedious work, super time consuming, and I really, honestly, I just needed a little bit of a break from it. So that's what I did. I took a little bit of a break, focused on work, but I feel now like I'm ready to hop back on it. I gotta get some stuff done. I gotta get some content out for you all. We just hit 5,000 subscribers, if I'm timing this video right, which is freaking amazing. I mean, it blows my mind that there's 5,000 people that are subscribed to this channel, and I'm sitting at home not providing content to you all. So we got to get some stuff going on. So even though I haven't been posting content on this channel, that doesn't mean that I haven't stayed busy. And there's one thing for certain, I've definitely developed a little bit of a problem, and I'll give you a hint. It's not the AE86, it's more of the two-wheeled variety. Oh, geez. Yep. Well, guys, the two-wheel bug hit me like a sack of bricks, man, and all these projects can pretty much show that. So let's start with some of these projects. I want to talk about them a little bit, but we will first start with the one that started it all, and this is my 2007 Honda Metropolitan. So for those of you all who don't know, the story behind this scooter is I bought it from a guy on Facebook Marketplace for like 150 bucks or like $200. Had over 30,000 miles. The odometer had been clocked twice. The engine was actually blown. It didn't have compression. And what I did is I ended up buying it just to see if I could fix it. Brought it home, took it all apart, and wouldn't you know it, I actually fixed it and got it back up and running. So I drove it like that for a long time, but that tired engine really needed to be replaced. So I replaced it with a Honda Ruckus motor and then did some go-fast upgrades to it. So I've got a lot of content on this thing. I am going to make a video. This thing is freaking sweet, man. If you need something to commute around town and just zip and zoom pretty much wherever you want, this thing is freaking amazing. Now, I don't want to get into too much of the stuff that I did to it because I will have a video or a series on this thing itself, but this is the one that started it all. And of course, after the Honda Metropolitan came the Honda Helix, and I've got a couple videos on this guy. So let's go ahead and pull it out into the driveway so you got a better look. All right, so here is my 2001 Honda Helix, and this thing is actually a Copart rebuild project. I don't know if you all have seen the videos before, but the last couple videos I have actually posted on this thing. If you haven't seen it, go ahead and check it out on the sidebar or linked up here in the video. But this thing, man, bought it completely salvaged. It was laid down, wrecked, totaled, and then went through the whole rebuilding process and have finally gotten it legal. So it is actually registered as a rebuilt. Got a license plate on the back for a motorcycle. So this thing is 100% legal to ride. I am going to be posting a part 3 video on this here very soon, where I'm going to take you all out for the first ride and show you how amazing this thing is. This thing is in a league of its own, man. It's a little bit, well, it's quite a bit bigger than the Honda Metropolitan, so it has its own place. But it's a super cool scooter, and I had a lot of fun with it. So be on the lookout for part 3. You will see this thing on the road. We have a lot more upgrades to come. This thing is going to be super JDM. We're going for the bagged stance. We already got the Helix gang sticker over on the right-hand side here. I mean, we're talking lights, all sorts of cool stuff. I know it sounds kind of ridiculous, but I promise when it's all done, it's going to look really good. Next up, we have a 1982 Honda CM450 Custom. This is actually not my bike, but a buddy of mine's. And this thing, man, it was brought back from the literal dead. Again, this is a Facebook Marketplace steal. My buddy traded an old Dell laptop for it. But man, it was in rough shape. So this whole bike has been rebuilt. Unfortunately, I did not videotape the engine teardown process, but I do have a lot of content on it, and we will be creating a video on it. It is very far from completion, but we are kind of working out an exhaust and trying to dial in the carbs and all that kind of stuff. We kind of want to make it into a cafe racer, and we're kind of doing some modifications slowly but surely to get to that point. I'm going to go ahead and start it for you all so you can hear how freaking loud it is. And that, again, that's running open headers. It pops and bangs quite a bit, but again, we're still trying to dial everything in. So without further ado, let's start this thing up. Oh man, this thing, it needs a lot of work, but man, does it sound beastly. I gotta be careful though, because it sounds like gunshots go off when I rev it and everything. So that's just a little sneak peek, but there's gonna be a lot more content on this thing coming. We got a lot more plans in store, so be on the lookout for videos on this project as well. All right, and here is my 1981 Honda CB650. This is a bike that my awesome wife and my best friend pitched in on for my birthday this past June. It is freaking amazing. Definitely in a little bit rough shape, but that's cool. The cool thing about it though, mechanically, everything works fine. You can start this thing up, you can drive it. It is not registered and I need to go through the title change process. Obviously some maintenance stuff, probably spark plugs. That brake rotor looks a little used. The gas tank, even though I appreciate the previous owner and what he did to the gas tank, definitely not my style. So that's going to be changing. The handlebars that look like a Harley Davidson are going to get swapped out with something else. And obviously tires, they've lived a pretty good life, it looks like. So anyway, this thing is, I mean, freaking amazing. I can't thank my wife and best friend enough. I mean, it's so cool to having those close to me, supporting me in these builds. And, you know, they are fueling my two-wheel habit. I mean, this is definitely an example of it. But anyway, let me see if I can start this thing for you. Again, this thing runs and drives just fine. I'm not really comfortable driving it at the moment because it is not registered and not insured and all that kind of stuff. So we'll just do a quick start here so you can see it. I will say there's going to be big changes with this bike. So for those who are super pure, you know, love the old vintage motorcycles, go ahead and turn away now. You're not going to like these next couple of things I mentioned. But as I had mentioned with the CM450 in there, this is also going to be a cafe racer kind of scrambler build. Again, I know some of you all will probably not like the idea of it being turned into a cafe racer and chopped up, but it's cool. That's what I want to do, man. You know, and that's the beauty of this thing, man. You're building your own motorcycle, you're fitting it to you. I think it's going to be super cool when it's done. Now again, guys, this is all stock, so it's not going to be anything crazy, right? Also, you got to hold on to the choke because the choke cable's kind of broken. We'll take care of that, you know we will. This is it. Obviously it needs a little bit of work, but it runs and drives. I mean, if I put it in gear right now and start giving it throttle, it will run. It does rev pretty nice. So, I don't want to get on it too much because it's not warm, but yeah, man, I mean, a running and driving bike, I couldn't ask for more. Now again, I'm not going to lie to you. There's a lot of work that still needs to be done on this bike. It's not perfect, but it is running and driving, and that's actually a pretty big deal when it comes to projects for me, because most of the time I buy stuff that's already broken and not working. So we're already starting in a pretty good place with this bike. Be on the lookout for content on this thing. I think it's going to turn out super awesome. I hope you all enjoy it, and we will be getting into this project here hopefully pretty soon. Now, for the last one in here, I'll just go ahead and show it to you. Boy, oh boy, is this something crazy, man. This is a 1978 Honda Hobbit. As you can tell, the headlight is pointing straight up into the air, so it doesn't really help when you're driving around, and a headlight from 1978 doesn't really do much anyway. But we got to kind of mess with that, make the headlight actually face the ground. Over here, the brake situation, I already took the brake lever off of this, but it was practically, I mean, it wasn't doing anything. The front brakes definitely need to be changed, and the rear brakes work a little bit better, but it's nowhere near what it should be. It's really unsafe, so we got to get those kind of swapped out. Also, these crazy big shocks are about 4 to 5 inches taller than what they're really supposed to be. So as you can see, if you look at the kickstand, this thing is just barely balancing on it because it's so high up in the air. But anyway, this thing is pretty cool. I mean, it's something super different. You don't see them out on the roads all that much, and it's a little two-stroke monster. You know, I do want to kind of work on it, fix it up, make it a little bit quicker, a little bit safer, and I also want to do some mods to it myself. Now, this is not technically mine. It's actually a buddy of mine's, but he left it in my garage, and among my friend group, I mean, they know if you leave something in my garage, I'm going to tinker with it. It's what I do. So my buddy said he's cool with me doing anything to it as long as I don't cut it up. So it's going to be super cool to just kind of work on, modify, and make fast. It is it's definitely a head turner when you have it out on the streets. And of course now, the project that everybody has been waiting for. Here is the Corolla and its current state. Now y'all aren't going to like what I say here next, but really, I haven't done much since the last video on this thing. I sprayed some self-etching primer on it to keep rust from forming, because it has actually been sitting for a while and I was having a little bit of issue with rust. You can see the last bit that I did is I started welding that back seam, and it was super hard to get to, super hard to actually weld properly. I didn't have the right tools, I got frustrated, and this kind of just stopped. I stopped working on it. And then in the meantime, my buddy, who actually owns this welding setup, with COVID and all that stuff, he actually had some free time to work on his Volkswagen Beetle, and so he asked if he could take the welder back, and of course he can. I mean, this is his. He's been kind enough to let me use it. So I have actually been without the welder for about a month or two, something like that. So really, progress on this thing has pretty much come to a halt. Now, I will say, I sprayed it with primer, and all this primer will get ground down again. This is just kind of spray can duplicolor primer to keep rust from it. But dude, it actually looks pretty freaking good as one color. Now obviously, this big ridge right here, we're going to be smoothing out with filler. We're going to smooth all that out with filler. But I mean, honestly, the bay actually looks really good as is. And I think I'm not really going to have to use all that much filler. I think it's going to be really a real thin coat. I mean, everything up here too. Like, I'm going to use some fiberglass filler up here to kind of make this all nice and smooth. But for the most part, dude, it actually turned out really good. So far, everything looks great. It's really cool to see it in one color. And again, this is without any filler at all. So we still got a whole bunch of filler work to go. But the engine bay is getting there. But thankfully, since now I have the welder back, we'll be hopping onto this project pretty hard and knocking out this engine bay. But for the most part, man, I think this is actually turning out really well. But there's going to be much more content on this. We're going to knock this bay out, finish up the little odds and ends, and then get this thing freaking painted. I have finally decided on a color. I'm not going to tell you all what it is, but I've seen it recently in some YouTube videos, and it's always been in the back of my mind to use this color. And I've officially decided, dude, that's what I'm going to use. Some of y'all are going to hate it, but I think it's going to look freaking amazing when it's done. So, a lot more progress to come on the AE86. Sorry it's taken so long, but we are going to get back on this and get it done as quick as possible. Alright guys, so I'm going to wrap up this video. I know it's a little bit different, but I definitely wanted to give you a little bit of update on what's been going on in the garage. kind of over the past couple of months. I hope you all enjoyed this video. I hope all of these two-wheeled projects are something that at least interests you all a little bit. I know it's going to be a little bit different from the content you're used to, but I think it's a good idea to kind of mix it up a little bit. You know, I think people do get bored of just nothing but AE86 videos, so I think you all are going to enjoy the stuff in here. I know I am, and they're going to be really cool projects when they're all completely finished, if projects actually ever do get fully finished. And for all of the new subscribers to the channel, I hope you all enjoy this sort of content. Again, this is mainly AE86 stuff, but now I've got a lot of two-wheeled projects coming to the channel, so I hope you all enjoy it. For all of those who have already been subscribed to the channel, thank you for your support. I can't believe we've hit 5,000 subscribers. I mean, it's pretty intense, dude. The next goal is 10, and then we just keep moving on from there, and eventually we'll get to 100K. But that's a pipe dream at this point, but maybe one day. If you all enjoy this sort of content, please smash that thumbs up button. If you want to be notified when more videos like this come out on the channel, make sure to click the subscribe button below and tick the little bell notification to get notified when I do post. Guys, stay tuned for more AE86 content, and now a whole bunch of content on some two-wheeled projects. And until next time, I'll see you later.